everyone, I'm MaryAnn. I'm a visual artist and voice coach from Singapore, currently in Singapore, and welcome to another installment of my weekly vlog series, Live Your Dream. So I'm a person who is all about pursuing something that really matters to me and making my limited time here on this planet count, so that when I look back over the course of my life, I can say that I really lived a well-lived life. And the purpose of me recording this vlog is to share what I've learned in this journey so far, what I am learning, what I'm discovering along the way, such that you out there who is also on this journey of pursuing your dream, whatever that is, you get some encouragement, you get some assurance that you're not alone in this journey, you get some clarity maybe about something that you're struggling with right now, or something that you're unclear about in this journey and what it's really like. I definitely don't have all the answers, and I'm not going to claim that I have all the answers. I can only share what I know from my own personal experience, maybe a little bit about the things that I've read here and there. But I'm the kind of person that, if I don't practice what I preach or practice what I share, I would always feel this sense of offness inside me, like an off integrity kind of feeling. And so that prevents me from sharing things that I don't really know about. So I do my best to just be very honest and candid about how the process is really like. And of course, if you find that something I've shared is not at all your experience, do share it in the comments so that I can also understand a different perspective, and maybe it's also possible sometimes something that I've shared isn't clear enough. So feel free to ask your questions in the comments. I will share a lot about what I'm going through in my journey right now as an artist, mostly as an artist for this vlog series. So I have a separate vlog where I share about the singing journey, and that's a series called Find Your Voice, which is on another channel. So in today's vlog, what I wanted to share about is what I am learning so far in my journey of mastery. So a couple of weeks ago, my teacher told me to start drawing fairy penguins, and to build up my drawing skill set. And when I started doing that, I also started to wonder about mastery and wonder what that would mean to me as an artist, besides just honing my drawing skills. And one of the interesting things that I started to realize was that I needed to also understand what the art world is like and what art is really about. And I know people always say it's very subjective, and it's really what each person decides it to be, or what each artist decides it to be. But I think it's more of, having not come from a formal background in art, I kind of feel like there's a lot of gaps. And this is something I've noticed even when, as I am pursuing my projects as an artist, there's always something missing there that I don't quite understand. And I decided that it was time to really just educate myself. So this week I went to one exhibition opening here in Singapore. I went to an artist's open studio, and I also went to a couple of exhibitions and spoke with the gallery owners, and just to get a sense of what the art is like out there, and to open myself up to more ideas and more perspectives. And it was really eye-opening, because this week alone I saw like so many different kinds of artists. There was a street art exhibition in a gallery space, so that was really interesting. And the exhibition opening that I went to was also by a renowned street artist and his wife, and there were two very different styles of painting altogether. So I had conversations with both of them about their work as well. And then the open studio that I went was by a visiting artist who was doing an artist residency program here in Singapore. And I think her work was really the most striking, at least to me right now, because she's a multimedia artist. So she works in many different media, and she has found ways to combine them and create installations from them, and it's also very thought-provoking, and creates a certain kind of conversation around our social history. So I was really intrigued by her work and how she combined different media and like 3D printing, and then printing on the 3D printed items, and creating a whole story around her work. And then she asked me if I was an artist too, and then I showed her some of my works and what I was currently working on. And she basically gave me an idea that I never thought of before, which was creating an art book and then using like AR as a way to so that when people look at the artwork through an augmented reality app, they would see something come to life or something. And what I took away from that conversation was that somehow I have been very limited in my thinking of art, where to me it's like when people ask me what kind of artist I am, I usually say I'm a painter and illustrator. And in my mind, I had an idea of what a painter is. In my mind, I had an idea of what an illustrator is, and what an animator is, or what a street artist is. And it never occurred to me there were ways to actually combine all of that. Because she was saying, you could even do like an augmented reality thing, even with your murals. And I was like, oh my gosh, I know about augmented reality apps, but I never actually thought of incorporating that somehow into my work, or like combining animation together with painting, and then create an art book. Like, these were things that I never ever thought of. I was just very stuck in a one track mentality of like, do paintings, do an exhibition, kind of that kind of thing. Yeah. And so I started to see how the process of really going to all these exhibitions and figuring out, educating myself in art, it really allowed me to have a wider perspective of what art is. And especially having not been trained as an artist, it's like, it's really valuable and eye-opening information that I can start thinking about my own work differently and my own artistic practice differently, and what kind of artist am I really, and how do I combine these different things that I've started to explore. And so what I wanted to share today is that one of the things that I realized this week was that I was kind of in a hurry and trying to rush my journey and rush my process along. And this comes from the fact that I just turned 38 a couple of weeks ago. So I kind of feel like age is catching up a little bit on me, even though 38 is still really young. Okay, like being 40, 40 now is the new 30. Okay, so like if you're like around my age, or older, you don't have to feel like time, it's good to feel that time is catching up with you, because then there's a sense of urgency to want to move things along. But at the same time, you don't want to rush the process. And that was something that I was doing for a very long time, because ever since I did my first solo exhibition at the age of 30, with no formal training in art, with having not really done any art in 20 years, I realized that over the last 8 years as an artist, I've just been trying to rush things along. I've just been like, okay, this looks cool, I'm going to try this looks cool, I'm going to try this. And then, like even with my murals, it was like a rush. It was like a mad rush to try and create something, and it wasn't exactly, completely well thought out. And everyone has a different style of working. I'm not saying that you can't rush things, and maybe that works for you, but I guess what I'm saying is that every single journey, there are different stages of the journey. Like when we talk about mastery, and the journey towards mastery, it's been said that 10,000 hours is usually like the amount of time that you need to put in order to master an area or master a subject, at least according to Malcolm Gladwell. And within these 10,000 hours, there are different stages of the journey. Like there is the beginner stage, where you are maybe still exploring what exactly is it you want to focus on. And then there's like an apprenticeship stage, which is where you start really learning the skill set that you need in order to create whatever you need to, or a craft, or whatever it is in your field. And then even within the apprenticeship stage, there's many different stages as well, and I don't know all the specific terms of that. And then after the apprenticeship, maybe there's like another stage where you start applying whatever you have learned in your apprenticeship, and you start creating something that is uniquely yours. So every single path that we're on, there are different stages. And what I'm learning now is that I cannot rush my journey. I can only just show up every single day and do something on a consistent basis, and do the right things, of course, as much as I can. And that will take me eventually, wherever I want to get to further down the line. Or maybe I don't even know where it's heading, but eventually it will take me further down the line in my journey towards mastery. So what I started to see is that, while my mural project is something that I really am passionate about, I'm not exactly excited about doing that in Singapore. Um, I mean, I already have done one in Singapore, and yeah, and maybe I'm shooting myself in the foot here, but it's more like I started to get the sense that I'm just trying to do one for the sake of doing one, instead of really coming to fall in love with a neighborhood and then deciding that, oh, I really want to do something in this neighborhood. And it doesn't work when it doesn't work when you're coming from a place of trying to rush something headlong, just trying to rush something and get something going. And yeah, and I think a part of me also started to feel like maybe right now is the time that I need to focus on my new art series instead, especially since I have a space now to work in. um, in my home. Like, it's not a really big space, but at least there's a space for me to work in, and I really have no excuse to not be working on my work. And at the same time, because I've been thinking also about, if I want to continue my mural series, I want to also learn how to do spray painting. And so that is also something I can look into as a learning project for myself, like learning how to do spray painting and finding places in Singapore where it is legal to practice that. And maybe even meet some of the street artists and see if I can learn something from engaging with them as well. So who knows, right? But the point is that, while it is great to have a goal to strive towards, like, for me, I want to do an exhibition with the gallery here. I do want to paint a dream tree mural here at some point. It's good to have a goal, it's good to set an intention, but you don't want to rush the process. You want to make sure that you're doing the exact right thing that you need to do right now, and just focus on that and keep moving in that vein. And always ask yourself, like, is this what I need to be doing right now, rather than, like, trying to jump many steps ahead to get to the end goal, because that normally doesn't really work, and you might still get there, but you might also miss out a lot of things along the way. Yeah, and that doesn't forward you in the long run, because at least what I'm learning in my journey is that a lot of my foundations are lacking. And so when I try to build further things on top of that, like, painting more dream tree murals, there is so many gaps that I end up, feeling confused and feeling stuck and feeling like, maybe I shouldn't be doing this now, and there's so many questions. And so I decided that, I am at a stage now where I'm learning more about art. Learning about art is always going to be a never-ending journey anyway, but I think I'm in a stage now where it's about honing my skill set, about honing my sense of observation of other people's art, studying art on my own, and not just studying the great masters, but even who are the up and coming artists now, and what is relevant to today's day and time. And yeah, exposing myself to something that may not even be part of my interest when it comes to art, allowing myself to be exposed to more things. And so that's the stage that I'm in now in my mastery journey. At this point in time, it's really about self-learning and yeah, teaching myself whatever I need to know on this journey, and also figuring stuff out in terms of what is it that I want to create and how do I want to create that, and understanding more about the creative process as well. So wherever you are in your journey, whatever stage you're in, remember that it is a process. It is something that will take time. There is 10,000 hours that we want to. There are going to be 10,000 hours that you're going to need to cover, and if you're only at like 200, then you still have a pretty long way to go. And it's really not about rushing the journey. It's really about enjoying the stage that you're in right now and making the most that you can of whatever it is that you need to do at this point in time. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments, and do subscribe to my channel for more such vlogs about living your dream and pursuing a passion. And I will see you next week.